This is Marty the Moth Casaus from Lucha Underground and Ring Warriors, and you're watching Interactive Wrestling Radio.
You're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio, featuring the interactive interview, courtesy of WrestlingEpicenter.com.
So what you gonna do?
Let me talk to you, dummies.
Oh, yeah.
You're where it's at.
If you're smart like me, you gotta listen.
And if you don't listen to it,
I'll come out of your computer and body slam your ass.
Don't be a Melvin.
I will scar you.
open your third eye.
Woo! It's gonna be cool.
Oh, what a rush.
It's showtime!
We had a lovely conversation.
To the interactive interview. Interactive Wrestling Radio.
The Epicenter.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Interactive Wrestling Radio, right here on WrestlingEpicenter.com. My name is James Walsh, and joining us this week for our exclusive interview is the Lucha Underground World Heavyweight Champion, the creepy bastard himself, Marty the Moth Martinez. We were actually supposed to have Marty on back at Comic-Con, and he got bumped because times didn't work out right, and I'm actually glad it happened that way, and I'll tell you why. Because now I know what I didn't know then, which is that he was going to win the World Heavyweight Championship. Lucha Underground, even though it was taped a few months ago, it keeps the feel of a live show because the spoilers are not as readily available as, say, in Impact Wrestling, or as it used to be for SmackDown, or potentially even Ring Warriors. Ring Warriors, by the way, Martin Casaus, the alter ego of Mr. Marty the Moth Martinez, is also a part on that show. So be sure and watch Lucha Underground every Wednesday evening on the El Rey Network, as well as Ring Warriors every Saturday morning on WGN America. Lots of great stuff. If you're a wrestling fan right now, between Impact Wrestling on Pop TV, the syndicated Ring of Honor show, MLW on BN Sports, Ring Warriors on WGN America, you've got El Rey Network with Lucha Underground coming up to Ultima Lucha Quatro coming up in just a few weeks. So much great wrestling outside of the WWE to choose from. It's an epic time to be a wrestling fan, and I would venture to say to be a wrestler as well. Without any further delay, I'm going to bring you the Lucha Underground champion right now, right here on Interactive Wrestling Radio. Stay tuned. Available now in the archives of WrestlingEpicenter.com. It's our 2017 initial interview with Taya Valkyrie, shortly after she made her Impact Wrestling debut. Hear her talk about the unfortunate incident between Sexy Star and Rosemary.
I just was so disappointed in the whole situation because I consider myself to be the face, of someone who is heavily involved in the Lucha Libre world on an international level.
You're Lucha Royal.
Right, yes, exactly. I'm Queen of Queens. So it's just really sad for me to watch.
Get it now at WrestlingEpicenter.com and InteractiveWrestlingRadio.com.
Hola, this is the Wednesday Night Delight, Johnny Mundo, and you're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio.
If you want to conquer something, you must be ready for a war.
This is insane. Lucha Underground is out of this world. I've never seen anything like this.
Lucha Underground Season 3. New episode Wednesday at 8 p.m. on El Rey Network.
What's up, everybody? This is Matt Stryker, and you are listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio.
The package pile driver, the signature maneuver of Pentagon. In one night, ever she is. I never thought I'd say this. Ladies and gentlemen, Marty the Moth Martinez is your new Lucha Underground champion.
Welcome back to Interactive Wrestling Radio. Right now on the Newsmaker line with me is the new Lucha Underground World Heavyweight Champion. He is Marty the Moth Martinez. Mr. Martinez, are you with me?
I'm here with you, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's so awesome that you're the Lucha Underground World Champion. We saw a little foreshadowing of you moving up the card when you were one of the final two in Aztec Warfare at the very beginning of the season. How cool is it to hold that Lucha Underground Championship?
It's great. It's a culmination of a lot of things I've worked for. It's put a lot of hard work to get in there, and it's really fun to kick Pentagon in the face. I feel like I'm sitting pretty sweet right now on the top of the mountain.
Very cool. And I got to tell you, we were supposed to do an interview with you at San Diego Comic-Con earlier this year, and by then we had no idea because of the gag orders and things that are in place to keep you guys from kind of spoiling what's going to happen. We had no idea you were going to end up being world champion. So I'm glad we didn't do it then. But is it difficult for you as a performer to know that you got this awesome stuff that's about to air and you can't tell anybody about it until it does air? Is it difficult to keep that under wraps?
Absolutely. This one was definitely hard too because during season 4, they had the big, hey, no spoiler thing that went out. There's like even 1 week where there was a cease and desist order sent out to people and the big stink about no one putting out spoilers. That same week after all that stuff happened, I won the championship. So like what normally would have got out to a lot more people didn't get out. And that was that week of me winning the championship. So it came as a lot more of a surprise to people who normally would have gotten the information a lot sooner. It was pretty cool. I'm liking it.
Yeah, it's cool. It keeps that almost alive feel to it because we don't know what's going to happen. So it gives it almost a live feel, even though it was taped a couple months ago.
Absolutely. It's been so hard not to tell people. Trust me.
All right. So Marty the Moth, the evolution of the character has been really interesting to watch. You started out as maybe more of a comedy character, maybe not quite at the top of the card, and you've evolved into the guy that, like I said, the beginning of the season, almost right away, people were ready to accept you at the top of the card, and here you are at the top of the card. Is there more pressure in being the Lucha Underground champion than there was being more of the undercard guy?
Absolutely. I feel like that's a bunch of pressure. Well, you're essentially the face of that company, of that TV show. Because remember, we're a TV show, not a wrestling company. You're the face of the TV show, so absolutely there's that pressure. But I'm not worried in the slightest.
Very cool. And one of the cool additions to your character since becoming champion is Chelsea Greene, who was going by the name of Reclusa in Lucha Underground. Is it cool to work with Miss Reclusa?
It's great. She's pretty much down for anything. She was brought in just as a, hey, I'm here, let's take a look at her. And then they looked at how me and Chelsea worked together in stuff pre-taped Stark matches, and they said this could be something cool. So they threw her in that weekend, and it's awesome to work with her because she's just kind of down for anything, and that's kind of how I am, and it's just kind of how can we make the best TV we can.
Absolutely. And speaking of great TV, you always seem to be joined at the hip one way or the other with lovely ladies. And one of your biggest feud was with Melissa Santos. Your interactions with her have gone down in history as some of the most memorable in Lucha Underground history. Thoughts on working with Melissa Santos?
It's great because we were able to work together. We were getting such good reaction we couldn't stop. And it had turned into a story. And me and her were thinking, she was pretty much letting me do whatever I'd like, which was great. And her reactions were all actual reactions. I didn't tell her anything that I was going to do. I was always trying to make her break character, get grossed out in real life. And she's very good at keeping her composure while I was dripping on her and sweating on her. It was a lot of fun, though, being able to send each other the death threats that I got from the interactions with her. And the people so angry with the interactions that I was having with her, sending me all sorts of threats. And I'm like, I filmed this 3 months ago, guys. It's not like I'm going to change anything because you wrote me on Twitter anyway. But it was fun seeing the reaction of me interacting with Melissa, how people saw that and were so angry about it.
Very
So
cool.
angry.
Absolutely. And you mentioned, I mentioned beautiful women that you've been paired with, and somebody who probably always has flown under the radar her entire career, and I was talking about this with my wife last night. I have no idea why, is your opponent from last night. Your sister, Mariposa. She's been such a big part of the Marty the Moth character. Any thoughts on her performance and how integral is she to your success?
She, I believe, was the original character, actually. The Moth, Marty the Moth was not part of the, I don't think, part of the original script of the show. Her character was it. So she's absolutely integral. I just have to come in first and get that exposure. She's fantastic. She's just the same as Chelsea, where she's down for anything and just making the best TV possible. She's a great worker. She's known in a bunch of places. I'm sure she's going to get plenty of spotlight here in the future. But she put up one hell of a fight yesterday, and she just posted the bruises from it as well.
Absolutely. All right. That was a great match, by the way. Is it difficult to work with women the way you would work with men? Do you have to kind of put that away, put kind of all the chivalry you're taught as a kid away and just accept them as equals in there?
You could. However, I think of it as an opportunity to tell a better story. If I was to treat her just like anybody else, that if I punch a woman, it's completely different than if I was to punch Drago. So I feel like every time that I got to work with Sexy Star, every time I got to work with Mariposa, it's an opportunity to tell a different story, where you didn't see me punch her in the face much. But it's fun because we told a brutal story. And I think, though, the way Lucha Underground portrays women anyways, that I could do that. The women in Lucha Underground are portrayed as superheroes. And so I think that definitely that girls are a huge part of Lucha. And I know it's totally not your question, but I think Lucha Underground is definitely a place where women can shine just as well as the men, even against men.
I've told this story before, but part of the reason I fell in love with Lucha Underground, the first match I saw was in season 2 when Ivelisse challenged Mil Mortez, and it was like, wow, that's a girl in there with a big dude, and she's hanging in there. That was just such a different approach to wrestling. I loved it, and that's why I've stuck around for so long. All right, couple more questions, and then we'll let you go. As there are with most Enigma-type characters, there's always a lot of rumors online. Some are true, some are not true. I have one here for you. They talk about you originally being the original planned Mil Mortez and Matanza Cueto. Any truth to either of those?
I did not hear about the Matanza one. However, after the first season, Christy Joseph did put out there that I was supposed to be the original Mil Muertes, and that is a true fact that I was. I had no clue about it. I don't know if they just saw me when I got there like, hey, never mind, or what. But apparently I was supposed to be the original Mil Muertes, and I'm very glad that didn't work out.
All right, so when I see you, and including when I see you on Ring Warriors, another product that you're associated with right now, I always think of Marty the Moth, but on Ring Warriors, you're going by your given name. Is it a different approach? Is that something that you did intentionally, that not running with the Marty the Moth name, or is that strictly a contractual issue?
No, that was something I did on purpose. Mostly because I don't want to deal with contractual issues. And second, I'm Martin Casaus, and I do all my business, my supplement business, my Twitch, everything is Martin Casaus. So let's keep the brand of crazy and just introduce the real person.
Very cool. Headed back to Lucha Underground here, we mentioned that you were part of the No Mas match with your sister. You were involved in that anyway. You were involved in the Weapons of Mass Destruction match. You were involved in the Hair versus Mask match. You've been involved in some of the more hardcore matches in Lucha Underground history. What stands out the most to you when I mention those matches as maybe the most insane thing you've done? And have we seen the most insane thing you've done with the Zero Miero match coming up just a few weeks away?
I've had some fun at Lucha Underground for sure. I think for me, out of those Weapons of Mass Destruction match sticks out to me. You said, is there pressure being a mid-card guy versus the guy on top? Well, I don't think people really took us seriously as far as me and Killshot until after that match. And I feel like that match changed a lot of people's opinions on the way of me and Killshot. So that's the one that sticks out to me. You have far not seen anything like what's to come. I'm telling my mom not to come to this one. This is the most bloodiest and and brutal match that I've been a part of coming up in Sierra Mero, and I'm so excited for y'all to see it.
I can't wait to see it. I really can't wait to see it. So what do you make of where we're at wrestling-wise? I mentioned that you're part of Ring Warriors, Lucha Underground World Champion. You see Pentagon on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on television on various promotions. It's such an open world of wrestling right now, different than ever before. Any thoughts on just how wild wrestling is and how popular it's become?
I honestly think it's super popular now, but I think it's only going to get more popular where we're going to go into an era of what to me is similar to what the Attitude Era was. I feel like wrestling's going to get cool again. It started already with John Cena and The Rock all being in movies, and all these people. It's cool now to be a wrestling fan when before it wasn't for some reason. It was cool back in Monday Night Wars, and it stopped being cool. And I think now we're going to go into one of those awesome times of wrestling where it's everywhere. Now there's variety rather than just one company. That one company I think is actually doing very well anyway. But with the advent of the internet, wrestling is going to be at some of the sweetest highs coming up.
Very cool. Final question for you, and I'm going to be honest with you. I have two different emotions happen in my head when I hear Ultima Lucha mentioned during the show. My first thought is, wow, that's going to be a great show. And my second thought is, well, that means it's over. So I guess leading into Ultima Lucha Quatro, are we worried about the future of Lucha Underground, or you think that the future still is bright for Lucha Underground after Ultima Lucha Quatro?
I've heard rumors of sometime soon, sometime next year. Again, rumors are rumors, but I've heard that every year, and hey, we're on season 4, and I've heard rumors from season 1. So every rumor that I heard have all been excellent, and never count Lucha Underground out.
I hope so. Hey, let me blow one more by, and then I'll let you go. We mentioned Ring Warriors in passing. What's your take on how they're doing? What's your take of Ring Warriors on WGN America? Do you like what they're doing so far, and how do you like the more old school approach versus the more theatrical approach of Lucha Underground?
There's definitely a huge difference. I can definitely see a vast difference in production and storylines and everything. It's great, though, because it's a different blend and it's a different flavor. It's another 52-week show. Every single week, there's a wrestling product out there that people can enjoy, and I don't think that enough people know about Ring Warriors. Definitely, it's old school, so you can see Matanza at Ring Warriors. You can see me, so you can see the old school flavor of Marty the Moth. You can see the Marty the Moth and Lucha Underground. You can see the old school flavor of Jeff Cobb, which is Matanza, and then you can see Matanza. So you can see some of the different flavors of some of your favorite stars in different blends. So I think it's super great. I'm excited to see where it goes.
All right, cool. Last favor to ask of you. Do you mind giving me a station ID, just saying either Martin Casaus or Marty the Moth Martinez, whichever you're happier to give, and you're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio?
Interactive Wrestling Radio, okay.
All righty.
Just go?
Yeah, did you want me to do the whole Wayne's World? I'll do the whole Wayne's World thing. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2.
This is Marty the Moth Casaus from Lucha Underground and Ring Warriors, and you're watching Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Beautiful, man. I appreciate you taking the time to do this with me. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much, man. You have a good one.
You take care. Bye-bye.